the verse that really stands out to me is here in verse 6, where Paul says, but now we have been released from the law, or now we've been released from these rules and regulations, these things that want to draw us into sin, right? It says, for we died to it and we're no longer captive to its power. This goes back to what we just talked about in the last chapter, right?
Right.
And then he says, now we can serve God not in the old way of obeying the letter of the law, but in the new way of living in the Spirit.
Yeah.
Paul's going to really dive into this in chapter 8, but he's pointing us to this picture of we're not following God out of a rules-based, like, regulation relationship of do this, don't do that. He's saying, but it's this law of the Spirit. It's this living by the Spirit, which really points to a relationship. It's like God has placed that Spirit inside of us now, given us this freedom over sin. And when we lean into that, when we lean into wanting to please God and live by the Spirit of God, it's based out of this love relationship that we now have with Him, not do this, don't do that.
Okay, so I'm looking back through this as you're talking, and I'm sure everybody has felt this way somewhere in their life, especially if you grew up in a Christian home and you grew up in the church, where basic fundamentals of Christianity are taught, and it feels very much like what you just said. Do
Rules.
this, don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
And so you see a lot of people go, and I mean, I remember I had friends that were like, I mean, I believe in God and I want to serve God, but I want to live my life first.
Mm-hmm.
Like I want to go have some fun first. Because the idea of Christianity and fun didn't go together, because it was presented in a way of so much rules and regulations, right?
Yeah.
And so the idea of that so many of us have, that God is going, do this, don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Follow this. Da-da-da. It feels very controlling. When the reality is, when you get into the Word and you get to see the nature of God, it's the opposite of control.
Mm-hmm.
The most controlling thing in the world is the very thing that we think is freedom.
And that's sin.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so it's, I think, I don't know how to say this without, with it sounding abrasive, but, because, I'm an abrasive person. Just kidding. What we call control is the opposite. Because when God tells us, don't do this. It's not a, because I said so, I want to control you. It's a, this is going to hurt you.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to hurt you so bad. And like I always joke, but I attribute it to kids camp. When kids have freedom for the first time in their life from their parents with spending money. Like I'm telling you, it's weird. It's the weirdest thing, because these kids have never had $50, $100, $20 and just been able to run free. And parents send their kids to camp, and trust me, it's wonderful. You should send your kids to camp. It's great. But they send their kids to camp trusting these college adults to, yes, they're going to keep your kids safe. Yes, they're going to make sure your kid has a great time. Yes, they're going to make sure your kid encounters God. But guess what they're not doing? They're not monitoring their free spending money. They're not.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
This is like 26 years of being involved in kids and youth ministry. There's never been a summer camp where I've not had a kid throw up. And those moments always stand out to me as, this is why mom and dad say you can have one cookie. Mm-hmm. You can have one bag of chips. You can have one brownie. You can have one scoop of ice cream.
Right.
You can have the gallon and tell me how it works out for you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I think that when we look at that, like with kids, and you're just like, well, of course, that's why you say no. Then we look at God and we're like, why is he trying to control me? Same thing. It's not a, hey, I love saying no. I love being in control. I like being the fun sucker of your life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's, hey, I know that this could be detrimental.
Yeah.